at least one prominent evangelical outlet would likely disagree with that comparison. The magazine Christianity Today stunned readers this week with this editorial saying the president should be removed from office. Here's what it says in part. The facts in this instant are unambiguous. The president of the United States attempted to use his political power to coerce a foreign leader to harass and discredit one of the president's political opponents. That is not only a violation of the Constitution, more importantly, it is profoundly immoral. Well, in response, the president unleashed a series of critical tweets, slamming the magazine as far left and progressive. Joining me now, Stephen Mansfield, the author of Choosing Donald Trump, God, Anger, Hope, and Why Christian Conservatives Supported Him, and Susan Del Percio, Republican strategist and MSNBC political analyst. Stephen, the president called Christianity Today a far-left magazine. Is that an accurate depiction of their standing in the evangelical community, in your opinion?
No, it's not. The president was angry and raging and striking out. Christianity Today, it stirs the water, which is one of the roles journalists ought to have. But for the most part, it's pretty mainstream evangelicalism. It sometimes challenges ministries. It sometimes raises theological questions. And it definitely leans to the social justice side of the faith. But and that, by the way, is why fundamentalists sometimes call it Christianity astray. But it is absolutely mainstream evangelicalism and not left-leaning at all.
Well, editor-in-chief Mark Galley says it's the Ukraine scandal that ultimately caused him to change his mind about Trump. So let's listen.
There is a place for the give and take in political life, but there also comes a time when the ends do not justify the means. And as I argued in my piece, I think we've gotten to that point.
So, Stephen, do you think Christianity Today will remain alone among evangelicals, or are there possibly some evangelical leaders who could be emboldened by this and come out and criticize the president?
Well, in fact, I think that's going to be the main benefit of the piece. It's giving voice to some people who have felt themselves silenced, felt like they weren't represented in the national debate. The fact is there are evangelicals who feel this way. There are evangelicals who may not have anywhere else to turn, but they are not Trump supporters. They're concerned about his character. So I think the Christianity Today piece, really what it does is give a voice to that minority of evangelicals who feel that way, but just haven't had a place to express it.
Well, Susan, you know, the numbers are overwhelming when it comes to evangelical support for the president. Does this represent a crack? Do you think that this could change things?
Well, what I think it represents is an opportunity for that voting bloc maybe not to all come out in support of Donald Trump. They may not vote for the Democrat, but they may stay home, which is a big concern for any Republican running for president. So that could be certainly at Donald Trump's back. The other thing that's really important about this opinion piece is that it recognizes the fact that Donald Trump, I want to leave the morality question out of it. What he did was wrong. He defied the Constitution, and he should be held accountable. Because every time you don't hold him accountable, he thinks he got away with something. And I'm really tired of hearing all of these people who said, well, Donald Trump, I don't like this or that, but I got judges. At some point, you have to say judges aren't enough, and you keep allowing him to keep doing the same behavior that you claim is deplorable.
Stephen, this is not the first time Christianity Today has called for a president's removal from office. They did the same in '98 with Clinton. So what do you think is different this time?
Well, what's different this time is that the majority of evangelical leaders are pro-Trump. They are opposed to impeachment. They see this as a scam, and they speak of the other side almost as though they're the minions of the Antichrist. So Christianity Today was definitely getting out of lockstep with its brothers and sisters in evangelicalism, and they knew it, and they were happy to do it. And I think that's the important thing about it.
So, Susan, the Trump campaign announced it's launching an Evangelicals for Trump event. The Washington Post reports Trump officials are under pressure to act. So do you think that they're worried about this?
Not to the extent that they expect a big backlash, but they do have to be concerned that people won't show up. It's almost like what happened to Hillary Clinton in 2016. The diehard Democrats did not show up. They had issues with her. Some of them didn't like her for whatever reason. They just decided to sit this one out. Donald Trump has to be petrified of that.
Stephen, what do you think? Does he have a reason to be petrified? Do you think there's anything that could cause evangelicals to leave this president?
No, you and Susan have seen the same polls I have. Evangelicals are happy with Trump to the tune of about 90%. But I think what all people, all evangelicals, all of us who analyze political trends, and certainly the president ought to pay attention to, is that there's a generational issue going on here. Even though Mr. Galley, the editor of Christianity Today, is older and in fact retiring in January, I listened to the podcast of Christianity Today, and the voices are younger, the reporters are younger. And as we all know, millennials, that younger tribe, they're not enamored of Donald Trump. They're offended by his character. They're offended by his immoral past. And so the same things that are happening at Christianity Today are happening even in Billy Graham's family, as we all famously know. Some of the grandchildren of Billy Graham supportive of this Christianity Today piece and opposed to Trump. It's happening around Thanksgiving and Christmas tables around the country where there's a division of generations. That's the real story here, is that you have a break between generations. And I think that's sort of the subtext to what's going on at Christianity Today.
I think that's an excellent point to end on. He is a very polarizing figure, not just for generations. Susan Del Percio and Stephen Mansfield, we really appreciate your expertise and perspective. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.